news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good day, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio for Friday, August 5th, 2022 already. However, there is a lot to talk about, so let's get to the news in detail. Rystad Energy, a research company that claims to be an independent group based in Norway, was roughed up on Thursday evening after several Guyanese punched gaping holes into a study it produced with mysterious projections about the country's oil earnings into 2024. Now, Rystad's senior vice president and head of Latin America, Schreiner Parker, noted, among other lofty statistics, that Guyana is projected to receive $157 billion by 2040. A queue of oil-minded stakeholders led by chartered accountant and attorney-at-law Christopher Ram and Kaieteur News publisher Glenn Lal strategically interrogated and debunked the methodology and basis upon which Parker and his Norwegian team arrived at several conclusions in their report. Parker did not answer Ram's questions about his qualifications or that of his teammates. Ram therefore concluded that the report by Rystad is not only authoritative in the absence of being peer-reviewed, but its reliability is compromised, to say the least. On the gas-to-energy project, Parker could not present a shred of evidence to support his conclusion of why the gas-to-energy project is financially viable, as asked by Lal. Importantly, Parker did not pointedly answer Lal's question on whether he was paid by the government or ExxonMobil to spread his company's propaganda. But following a question by Stabroek News, he confessed that Rystad is indeed a client of ExxonMobil. And while the conversation regarding financial protection for Guyana against oil spills rages on, citizens are not only in the dark about the actual existence of the insurance policy, but sources have confirmed that the coverage is not in-country, as is legally required. Given their operations offshore Guyana, oil companies are required to have the necessary insurance coverage to provide the finances that are necessary to support cleanup action. Additionally, this policy is supposed to be in-country, so said former head of the EPA, Dr. Vincent Adams. However, it is understood that to date, the policy is not available here. We were told that based on the law, ExxonMobil and its affiliates are prevented from having the policy overseas and that it has to go through a local company. This move is called fronting, where the oil company passes the policy through a local broker, allowing for some in-country handling of the service. And in other news, SBM Offshore, the Dutch shipbuilder of Guyana's oil vessels, disclosed on Thursday that it earned a handsome net profit totaling $103 million for the first half of 2022. This is significant since for the corresponding period last year, the company made $61 million. Of particular interest to the company is the fact that its order book has increased to a new record level of $31.1 billion. The company said its growth is backed by the contractual arrangement in place for Guyana's FPSO vessel called One Guyana. This ship is expected to serve ExxonMobil's Yellowtail project in the Stabroek Block. And in other news, 3 porters were killed Wednesday night after the truck they were in toppled on the Soestdijk-Linden highway in the vicinity of Kuru Kuru. Those dead are Michael Edwards of Temeri Base Road, East Bank Demerara, Wilfred Phillips, and Alicia's Squad, both of Pomeroon River, Essequibo. According to a police report, sometime around 23 hours 30, a motor lorry that was driven by 47-year-old Sean Lim of Hyde Park, Temeri, was heading north along the western side of the highway when the accident occurred. The driver told investigators that while driving, he saw something run across the road from east to west. To avoid a collision, he pulled to the left, and in the process, he ended up losing control of the truck. The left side wheel ended up colliding with a barranco or a bump, which caused the vehicle to topple several times into a ditch. And moving on, Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, has slammed fossil fuel companies for the excessive and immoral profits they made during the energy crisis sparked by the Russia-Ukraine war in February last. The Secretary General issued a stern call for the massive gains of these firms to be taxed and the money returned to vulnerable citizens to help them weather the financial storm. Guterres says it is immoral for oil and gas companies to be making record profits on the backs of the poorest people and the communities at a massive cost to the climate. Guterres said many developing countries are drowning in debt without access to finance and are struggling to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. He said some situations are so dire that nations can go over the brink. Just before we head to a short break, let's tell you that police in Region 1 are investigating the death of an 18-year-old laborer, Jude Cristino, who was stabbed in the neck at Kamaka Waterfront, Mabaruma, Wednesday morning. Inquiries revealed that the victim and two males were seen arguing. As the victim tried to run away, both males gave chase and started to beat him. An eyewitness told police that one of the men then pulled out a knife and stabbed the victim to his neck, causing him to stumble and fall. They both then escaped in an eastern direction, leaving the victim lying motionless. You listen to Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 and the 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We'll take a short break and return.
Be crazy. It's easy like 1, 2, 3. Can't believe all this money for me, money for me. I got to get the CASH. That's the code for the vault, so let's play. Top up with 1,000 and the next day you could be a millionaire. Digicel.
More than 15 million to grab this summer. Top up with $1,000 or more to collect the letters to spell CASH.
For a chance to catch millions in the Digicel's cash vault.
Top up today.
Digicel.
This is GHK Lal, inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues, immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. Civil society group Policy Forum Guyana has criticized the governance of this country, saying what passes for politics here is so removed from being civilized. The recent announcement of the government's intention to launch a process of constitutional reform next month induces only eye-rolling resignation. According to PFG, while it welcomes the idea of public discussion, which Guyana so badly needs, it believes it is imperative that this not be yet another exercise doomed to predictable control and failure. And with the advancements being made in the health sector, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said more persons residing outside of Guyana could travel here to receive medical care. On January 24th, the Human Organ and Tissue Transplant Bill of 2021 was passed in the National Assembly. The legislation provides the legal framework for the removal of human organs, tissue cells, and biofluids, and transplantation, and blood transfusion. The health minister foresees a lot of persons returning for certain types of treatment as the quality of healthcare improves in Guyana. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health on a Thursday reported that within the last 24 hours, they recorded a total of 61 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 70,009. The ministry revealed that one patient is in the COVID-19 ICU, 21 persons are in institutional isolation, 491 are in home isolation, and to date, a total of 68,225 persons have recovered from the virus. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 11. Of course, we wrap things up as usual with the page 7 of today's Kaieteur News, dedicated to being blunt. Guyanese getting shine. If Guyanese did not enjoy a good laugh last evening when the so-called independent group Rystad Energy tried to paint a glowing picture regarding the amount of money we are getting from this oil and gas contract with Exxon, then I do not know what else will tickle our people. Coming out of the entire engagement, one thing was certain. Rystad did not, out of the blue, decide to come to Guyana and provide the so-called independent review of the sector. The Senior Vice President Shriner Parker probably did not expect attendees to understand the intricate pieces of information he sought to report on. But it is getting clearer that Guyanese are getting shine. Outside of getting the agent to admit that ExxonMobil is on its list of clients, he was pressed on the information he was providing, while Guyanese themselves have been begging but cannot receive the necessary information that would allow them to assess their own oil industry the way he has done. What is very real, however, is that many will be coming to Guyana, some paid to divulge information that may very well be true, but means nothing to the common Guyanese because of the poor contractual arrangements. It is clear also that arming ourselves with the relevant information will help us in protecting our oil wealth. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.